So, try to start this thing after 2 days, and it started. Of course, there's no high idle because it doesn't have the mechanism on it. But as you see, I just bled a bunch of air out of it just by opening it, but now I have the key on. This is ridiculous. And I remember I had no O-ring here. I still doubt that that was me. Like, I mean, if I saw it, I should have done it, but I don't recall if I did have it out or not, if I just had it loose. But something tells me there's more of these O-rings loose, or there's something wrong with this whole system here, or there's something wrong with the tank, but you'd still think you'd see air in here, you know, because I did put this guy in here for that reason. You know, all these hoses are new from a little over a year ago, or a year and a half. Maybe I'm going on 2 years now, but still, they're new. There's no reason to get all this air in there. See, because now I had a compound problem. That thing was leaking, but it was leaking, but it compounded it by having the air in the system, which is originally what I thought was happening when it first started happening. This is what I was getting, you know. Whether or not having the constant air in there messed up the thing and made it leak is another thing, but I doubt it. It's just old, you know. But this is crazy how much air I get into it just by sitting. Crazy. But I'd have to think that some of these O-rings and I don't know what else would give it air like this, you know. I have no idea now at this point. And it's hard to tell when you have all this shit that's old, but it looks like this is a metal plate that comes off, and you know, these plugs, they might have you know, O-rings inside there, but I gotta investigate this and then, you know, take this apart again. There's something weird with this car, definitely. Get a ton of air out of the main feed line. I don't know how the hell that's happening. This basically goes right to it. This one goes right to it, into the motor, I gather, from, you know, underneath there. Those are the lines. So that looks pretty clean right now. So I don't know. I think there might be an O-ring in here that's compromised or not even there, and this is part of my problem. I'm gonna have to take it apart. It's very rigid though. You can't just look at it. See, now I got that kind of flowing now. Thing is, now brand new fucking battery. It doesn't take one, even though, see, there's only one battery, even though it's a good battery. And who knows, it might have nothing been wrong, you know, been nothing wrong with my old battery. You know, if it starts up right away, it's one thing, but if it doesn't, you got a problem and you end up killing the battery. And my phone is showing that it's upside down. Why? I have no idea. It must be cold. Alright, almost dead. I really didn't even crank it that long. But, you know, I cranked it 30 seconds to a minute at a time for like 4 or 5 times. Let's see. More air. You know, it's one thing if you see air in the filter, which I really don't. I always suspected there was something wrong with the tank though too, you know, because of this whole calamity. I don't know why. I don't know why my phone is doing this, but oh well. Key is not on right now. It's just doing that. But I'm gonna put it on again, and then I'll crack open the main line. If that keeps getting air in it from there, it's under pressure. You'd think it would leak, you know. It still makes me feel there's something else wrong. It's very possible that once I reach a certain part in the tank that there's an issue, but unless the O-ring popped off, I don't remember seeing an O-ring here. See, that's clear actually. So if this is clear, and I did get air out of that thing, it just might not have enough juice to really get me to the next step. You know, but there was still air in it, and there usually is. Like, it usually stumbles before it actually runs, you know, well. The other thing is, you got this guy over here. Oh, this guy's open. You hit the button. That helps lead it out. Don't know if that was a mistake, but no, the button should have held me back a little bit. Key is still on. Keep getting these bubbles, you know. Put it under pressure. I mean, I don't think the filter is just not tight enough, you know. I mean, a little tiny bubble here or there. I mean, that usually works its way out. And then, like, there was a time in 2020 where I was having this issue where it wouldn't start sometimes, but once I started, it would run every day, but it wasn't leaking then. You know. The thing about this battery, it actually has good recovery, and I'm only letting it wait a couple of minutes. So, yeah, there it goes. That's pretty much it. I gotta charge it. Oh well, another video to come. Look at that. Jumper pack. Come on, rev, rev, rev. Ah. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. So I just started it. It's funny how it ran the other day. I know I don't have that advanced timing thing basically doing its thing with that because it doesn't have the vacuum now. Look at this, more air. Hang on, before I do that. Yeah, it's dripping out. I mean, I gather I should just turn the key on. But it's like I'm getting air in the filter. And I did have a ton of air to begin with in that. I should really always try to bleed that first to be sure, because it can throw you off. Well, that has air in it too now. Jesus, it's got it. I mean, it's not a ton, but I didn't expect it to have a ton either. There's definitely something up here. And it's possible because I really wasn't driving the car. I let the tank run down longer and longer, because it usually this car will stumble at a quarter tank. But it was actually sorry, my car talks to me. See, I'm at like 3/4 there, you know, so even with the jumper pack. Oh well, I gotta charge it slow and try it again, maybe on a slightly warmer day. You know, at sub-degree, 20 degrees, my V8's never wanted to start without big, massive jumps and everything. And if I have a, you know, airbound system problem, then it's only going to compound. You know, it's going to take my mind off one thing and to the other. So I got to do it at least at 32 degrees. All right, key is in the ignition. All right, thanks for watching. I'll be back with another video. Maybe in a couple of days. Supposed to get to 50 in a couple of days. So the other thing I'm going to do now is probably get a clear hose and put it into a diesel can and run the pump. And if it just is a constant, you know, whole bunch of bubbles, then it's probably coming from the tank. You know, and I gather that even though this fuel filter looks like it's fine, I'm just not getting the bubbles out of it. It looked completely full. I mean, there's a tiny little bit of air pocket right there. I would think I would see it. Not quite sure what the deal is. But it's very weird how it's constantly getting airbound. And, you know, guess I'll find out. But I might just, you know, shoot it with a regular hose and just take a look at it going because I'm lazy. But, don't know what else to think about with this, you know. But, something's up. I may just bypass the fuel altogether and just try to go straight in. It doesn't help for bleeding, though, you know, and stuff. So, I'll see. I hate to put an aftermarket thing. I really like the things to work. Of course, I unplugged this and I fucking busted the clip off it. I'm so upset. Little things like that burn me, but it's gonna get dark soon. It's really cold. Thank God the wind ain't blowing, but between that other bad news and this bad news, I'm just gonna think about it more and try to research it, and I'll see what happens. But that's basically where I'm at. But I kind of suspected already, because the thing, when it ran good, it would drive until it got to a quarter tank, and it would run out of gas and it'd still say a quarter tank. So then I have fill up with diesel, I bleed it, and it'd be fine. It would run. And then it started doing it at half a tank. Now I'm thinking it's just doing it at a third of a tank. And like I said, not that the, you know, the filter is dirty really, but something either collapsed or fell off or maybe did rust away, and it's just the bottom of the tank. So I'm just dreading doing it. on the ground in the cold. What else is new? Oh well. So in all honesty, I'm leaning towards there's nothing really wrong with this. I took off this whole contraption here with the screw and everything, like this little, I don't know what that, resistor or whatever. The O-ring was on that line as well. It's just not wet enough. You know, I just can't see this thing sucking in that much air unless somebody else has experience with that. But I think I'm thinking about trying to test something that I could test the gas tank with. But I already had problems knowing that it would essentially run out of fuel when it said a quarter tank. And I know it had a quarter tank in it, so it's not like it was reading wrong. So that's probably where I'm going to go next.